a delay in jury selection in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The judge postponing the last phase of the process until Monday.
He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough.
So literally just leaving the federal courthouse, lots happened today. The big thing is there is still no jury.
Since Diddy's trial was just postponed, there are no witnesses and jurors are withdrawing. Diddy is supposedly pursuing witnesses and intends to sue his former bodyguard for criticizing him. Cassie is scheduled to testify against Diddy this week, but there are rumors that she may require witness protection. Let's examine why jurors are afraid to speak out against Diddy. Where did witness number 3 go missing? And why
of a jury in the Sean Diddy Combs case almost complete. Prosecutors are preparing for opening arguments on Monday, but they admit there's a snag. One of their key witnesses against the rapper appears to have gone missing. This comes as we learn that Combs' ex-girlfriend, who was seen on video being assaulted by the rapper, is pregnant. Here's Les Trent.
Is a key witness in the Sean Diddy Combs trial backing out? Victim number 3, as she's called, was set to testify against the music mogul. The name of victim number 3 was going to be revealed when she took the stand, but the woman has apparently gone missing, and prosecutors say they've been unable to reach her.
People just get nervous, and this person could just be nervous and just has had second thoughts.
If the prosecutor can't find this witness, how might it affect the case?
Look, I don't think it's going to have a tremendous effect. The prosecution is going to call a number of alleged victims. So look, this is just one less.
Someone else is also getting cold feet. A juror sent an email to the judge asking to be removed from the panel for issues of personal well-being.
Prosecutors have disclosed that victim number 3 is missing, and there are rumors that Diddy may be connected to their purported disappearance. Diddy frequently targets those who criticize him, and it's worth noting that he was continuously attempting to get in touch with and threaten witnesses from within the prison.
Well, I mean, on the surface, if the prosecutor's claims are true, this seems like pretty much textbook witness tampering, right? I mean, it appears to be an effort to either, in some cases, intimidate witnesses from testifying against him, or there have been other reports of sort of inducing people to make statements in his defense. There was some allegation that in one instance this was a statement that he, in essence, dictated or drafted with a woman who made a statement that was attempting to rebut one of the accusers, I believe, in a civil case against him. I mean, witness tampering is bad. The things that Sean Combs is accused of are terrible. He pleads his innocence. The justice system will presumably work its way through.
It is likely that there is some underlying truth to at least some of the allegations. There might be a lot of underlying truth to a lot of the allegations. There's probably some bandwagoning going on. We spoke to an attorney who's for one of the alleged victims of Diddy a few weeks ago. I believe Amber Nomiki and I did, and they said they had calls, they had information, they had people, hundreds of them, come forward. They're not going to represent all of them. They're, which ones have evidence that can be compelling, what are the best cases to bring that. I also saw a story in the New York Post, this is from a week ago, about Diddy stuff that I wanted to read the headline of. Woman claims she saw minors dressed as Harajuku Barbies at Sean Diddy Combs' FreakOFF parties, what he was describing there to Conan so many years ago. Said these were sex-fueled parties with what she initially thought were little people dressed as Japanese Barbies. And she said, this is her talking to TMZ, are those midgets? And she actually thinks they were kids dressed up and sexy.
Oh, gross.
So again, that's just from someone who provided this information to TMZ for a documentary, but pretty disgusting
It
stuff.
is. No, that's.
Diddy was attempting to pay off witnesses, according to call logs, from the Metropolitan Detention Center where he is being held. In one case, Diddy called a victim 200 times in an attempt to intimidate and pay them off. He would then ask his family members to add a victim or witness to the call so that it would be impossible to determine who Diddy was speaking to. Offer. Additionally, Diddy sent a message to his former security urging him to quit bringing up the subject of Diddy and that enough is enough.
And you right about Diddy's phone being tapped, because news came out that his former bandmate from Dirty Money, she called the other group member Dunn 58 times trying to get her to stop the lawsuit against Diddy.
She ain't the only one he was trying to get in contact with. You understand? He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough. Oh, okay. You tell Big Mama that enough is enough. You can't tell Wolf Mama enough is enough. You tell D Ferg Mama enough is enough. You understand? You tell all those people who supported you and they survivors, enough is enough.
You didn't tell me about that. So he tried to get somebody to reach out to you?
Now I got a phone call from Kirk Burroughs. And Kirk Burroughs, and I ain't gonna even give this guy no play. Not Kirk Burroughs, but one of the Puff dudes that I know that's real close to him said, Kirk told me, yo, he wanna reach out to you, Gene. He wanna speak to you. I said, speak to me for what? What do you want to speak to me for? If he's trying to speak to me, it's for Puff. Point blank. I know the dude. I know how close he is to Puff. He's been with Puff from day one. So he ain't got nothing to say to me, bro. But Kirk Burroughs did say to me that the dude said enough is enough. When do it becomes enough?
This is relayed to me by Kirk Burroughs. This guy is like this with Diddy. You seen him on Drink Champs with him. You see him walking the streets in Miami with him, the whole 9 yards. So I'm saying to him, what does he want to talk to me for? He ain't got enough to say, he ain't got nothing to say to me. He said, yo, Gene, he said enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough to what? And I told Kirk Burroughs, I said, yo, if he want to, I said, he don't want to talk to me for himself. He want to talk to me for Diddy. And I ain't got nothing to say to him. He ain't said enough is enough to Wolf Mother when he cursed out and told her all kinds of shit. Did he say enough is enough to Big's mother? What do you mean enough is enough? And that's how that conversation went.
How did you feel about it after you were done?
I felt that, like, cause they must have got at Kirk Burroughs, cause Kirk called me with the bullshit. Yo, you gotta fix that. You know this, man. God, excuse me. Listen here, bro. I don't care nothing about none of these industry cats and what they do and how they do it. That's their business. You understand? I don't tell a man how to screw his wife and how to spend his money. You don't tell me what I gotta do with my time. Point blank.
Do you feel like at some point Diddy could try to come after you or do something, you know, being that he's went after a lot of people, you know, he's did a lot of stuff, as you know about.
Cam, let me tell you something, man. If I worried about what somebody would do for me, I wouldn't be the man that I am.
Gene Deal witnessed Diddy's abuse personally, and only after Diddy attempted to drug his fiancée did Gene realize that Diddy had gone too far. Gene attempted to stop Diddy, but Diddy ignored him.
The parties I seen and I knew that they were spiking drinks. My girl was at the New Year's party, right? I'm at the front door. I gotta make sure everybody got their passes and everything like that. So then, my girl and her girlfriend is in the party. So they get bottles of champagne. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking for them. After everybody comes, they close the door. So I'm going knocking in doors, looking at people. I'm looking for my kid's mother now. What the fuck, what's going on? And I'm getting hysterical. So I decided to go to the car, and I looked in the car. She was in the car asleep. She said, Gene, we started drinking the champagne, and I didn't feel good. And me and Debbie came here and went to sleep. And my whole thing about it is that Puff wasn't right what he did to people around us, man. He wasn't right what he did to people around us. Him being hard-headed, not listening, and not telling the truth and constantly lying cost a lot of people their lives, man. It cost a lot of people their lives. I want him to understand. When I told him, if we don't do something to these doors, people gonna die tonight. And forget, and I wanna say F what other people say, Everybody know I told him that. Our whole crew know I told him that. From Slick to Nord, Bunny, Big Boy, Eddie, all the people that was with us that night know I told him that. 9 people end up dead.
Gene Deal was allowed to divulge Diddy's secrets, since he was the only member of Diddy's crew who did not sign an NDA. Some women who worked for Diddy and Bad Boy Entertainment were being pimped out to other record business executives, and Diddy forced everyone who attended his FreakOFF parties to sign an NDA in order to prevent them from speaking out.
And I know you ain't signed it. I know you ain't signed an NDA, clearly. But did Diddy make his artists sign NDAs and people that work for him?
Well, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these industry people, anybody who does business nowadays with the internet, they have NDAs, non-disclosure. That means that if you work for them, you around them, you can't disclose any of the information about them. It's the same thing that he gave to all his artists when he gave them their publishing back. I'm gonna give y'all publishing, but y'all can't talk about Janice Combs, Justin Combs, Sony, Bad Boy, or anything that happened. Y'all can't talk about none of that. But there's some artists that didn't say anything, that didn't sign it, and they able to talk about anything they want to.
Diddy is now afraid that he will be imprisoned because the jury selection process is almost over, and he knows that he cannot escape this, so he has turned to violence. There are more well-known people involved than Diddy, and if Diddy loses, they will also lose. It will be fascinating to see what the prosecutors disclose later, because jurors were given a list of celebrities who weren't even listed in the case.
Here's why Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, and more celebrities were name-dropped at Sean Diddy Combs' trial. As jury selection in the mogul's sex trafficking trial got underway May 5th in New York, NBC News reports prospective jurors were shown a list of more than 100 names of people and places that may be referenced during the trial, including actors Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, and rapper Kanye West. While the aforementioned celebrities are not implicated in the case, the potential jurors were asked whether they knew any of the names listed and whether it would impact their ability to be impartial, per the outlet. Attorneys did not share an explanation for the list. The names of women who have taken legal action against Combs were also on the list, including his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, whose November 2023 sexual abuse lawsuit against the rapper was settled one day after it was filed. Danity Kane alum Don Richard, who accused Combs of sexual assault in a lawsuit filed in September, was also listed. Combs has denied any wrongdoing in both cases.
The candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities, and with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy and the charges. Just today, the name Robert Downey Jr. came up in court. When a prospective juror said that he knew a Robert Downey in high school, it was kind of funny. But Robert Downey, the actor, and Diddy apparently do know each other and have been seen together in public. But Robert Downey Jr. reportedly never attended Diddy's parties. So if he does figure into this trial somehow, it's going to be a lot of news to a lot of us. Mike Myers, another favorite Canadian, favorite actor, favorite comedian. He is on the jury question list as well. And that too is a tongue-wagging mystery.
Given the severity of the criticism, some of Diddy's associates have already begun to distance themselves from the spotlight, even as others are being names dropped. These accused crooks are concerned after Dylan accepted a plea deal to spy on his co-workers. Dallas Bishop, TD days after it was made public that Diddy had accepted a plea deal to turn on his co-workers, Jake Jakes resigned as the main pastor of the Potter's House megachurch.
Big breaking news tonight, and for the first time in the history of New York City, a sitting mayor has been indicted for crimes. ABC News reporting that Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We do not know yet the exact charges. Federal authorities have been investigating Adams and members of his staff, issuing subpoenas for documents and cell phones. Several members of administration have resigned, some of them also friends of Mayor Adams. Again, Eric Adams, the 110th mayor of New York, has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We'll have the latest online and tonight on Eyewitness News at 11.
This was a shock to many in the religious community. Bishop T.D. Jakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands. Now he says it's time to pass the baton to a new generation.
This is a beautiful moment for me.
From the pulpit Sunday, Bishop T.D. Jakes announced that he was stepping down from leadership at the Potter's House, the Dallas megachurch he founded in 1996 and has led ever since.
I cannot afford, especially after November, to risk something happening to me and you be sheep without a shepherd.
This is video from the service Jakes is referencing in November. It wasn't until months after his medical incident that he confirmed to the public he had a heart attack. Now, 5 months later, he told his congregation he had been preparing his daughter, Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, and his son-in-law, Pastor Torrey Roberts, to take the lead.
It is now evident that witnesses require government protection to prevent Diddy's cronies from obtaining them, as seen by the postponement of Did's trial and the suspension of secure jury selection.
Literally just leaving the federal courthouse. Lots happened today. The big thing is there is still no jury. They're so concerned about jurors backing out over the weekend once they find out that they're actually on the jury, that they're going to bring 43 of them back on Monday morning. They're going to strike them and then go right into opening statements. Part of that is because they received an email overnight that one juror backed out. She was like, this is just too much. I can't do it. Too much pressure. They had to strike another juror who did not give accurate information. He's engaged in a lawsuit with the city of New York and forgot to mention that. I have been in court every day this week. I've been in court every day since this whole case started, and I will be here every day in the courtroom all next week.
There's been a delay in jury selection in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The judge postponing the last phase of the process until Monday. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
This morning, Sean Combs is preparing to stand trial on sex crimes charges that could send him to prison for decades. The 12 people who will decide whether he's guilty are expected to be seated first thing Monday after lawyers make cuts from a pool of more than 40 prospective jurors. The judge initially wanted to do that on Friday, but changed his mind out of fear that jurors, if they had the weekend to think about it, would get cold feet. Once the jury is sworn, attorneys will deliver opening statements and the first witnesses will testify. Among them, Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, one of the women federal prosecutors say was coerced into drugged-up sex marathons known as FreakOFF.
Jay-Z did the same thing when he was named in a rap lawsuit related to Diddy. The victim was offered $10,000 to remain silent and withdraw her case, and that is exactly what happened. Clearly, there were threats involved as well, as evidenced by the leaked MDC calls that also showed Diddy had been attempting to buy the silence of his accusers.
Diddy Combs is facing new accusations tonight of attempting to pay off witnesses in his sex trafficking case, even while behind bars in Brooklyn. Prosecutors filed papers overnight saying a jail sweep uncovered evidence. Combs recently paid off an unnamed witness who had posted a statement to Instagram in what prosecutors say was an effort to try and taint the potential jury pool. The filing also accuses Combs of using phone accounts for at least 8 other inmates. Combs' legal team continues to ask the judge to give him a bail option, but prosecutors are again arguing bail should be denied.
With having $75 million at his disposal, isn't that by nature the exact thing that they're worried about? If you have this much money, that you could make this thing, you could probably make people disappear if you really opted to.
See, this is the thing. That'll just make more trouble. Why would he make more trouble now? He done already bought off and paid off everybody he possibly could. Have you looked at the indictment? Like, he called some witnesses up to 54 times.
Yeah, 200 and how many Angel? 200 something people. Yeah. He tried to reach out to.
Like, what are you running, a telethon or a telemarketing agency? Telemarketing executives don't make that many calls in one day. Or sometimes not even in a week, all depending on you was on that. You down for Diddy?
What happens with exposures? You make yourself vulnerable to all kinds of attacks, seen and unseen. What happened to my friend? When he passed away, there was $250,000 on my head and $150,000 on his. But what if I had decided to go back with my head held low and said, Sean, I'm willing to play the game, and then found a way to get inside of him and move him around?
It's interesting to note that Diddy's latest legal strategy is to try to place the blame on the victims. His attorneys have now disclosed that they plan to argue that Cassie was the violent partner and Diddy was merely defending himself. This claim is utterly implausible and readily refuted once you view the video of Diddy beating Cassie. Diddy is a violent and dangerous man.
All right, now let's get into what's going on with this Diddy trial, because there are some new things coming out as they're in the courtroom. And one thing that Diddy's defense team is leaning in on is saying that, yes, Diddy was abusive toward his ex Cassie, but they're also saying that she was no angel and allegedly got violent with him as well. It's day 4 of the Diddy trial, and the prosecutor and Diddy's attorney had a very interesting exchange with the judge. It kicked off with Johnson telling the judge that the victim one, who they believe is Cassie, will not be cross-examined about certain medical issues. But that's when Diddy's attorney said the defense is going to take the position there was a mutual violence in their relationship, hitting on both sides, DV, domestic violence. He said, we are absolutely going to admit to domestic violence, but at what point does it become coercive? And that's when the judge clarified, saying, you're arguing that they are just violent. And he said, right, we are saying that it's relevant. They also said they're submitting a letter to the court on the topic, and they're going to offer 2 cell phone videos and the corrected CNN footage of that infamous tape where you saw Diddy beating Cassie up at the Intercontinental Hotel in LA. If you recall, Diddy's team had been saying that tape was doctored. There was more to it. And so I guess they have the full video they are claiming that they're planning to bring up in court. So we'll see what happens.
As legal battles continue to mount for music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, his attorneys have pushed back against abuse allegations made by singer Cassie Ventura by claiming she too engaged in violent behavior during their relationship. In newly surfaced legal responses, Diddy's team argues that the narrative of him being the sole aggressor is one-sided, and they intend to present evidence suggesting mutual volatility. The claims come amid growing scrutiny over Diddy's past conduct, including federal investigations and multiple lawsuits.
Prior to this, Diddy was attempting to argue that he couldn't be held accountable for his actions because drugs and alcohol were impairing his mental state. Diddy's attorneys argued that Diddy was unaware that his actions were wrong and that he shouldn't be held accountable.
Diddy's defense, what he's saying is that his mental capacity to commit the crimes while he was wasted is part of why he's saying, he should not be charged in these crimes. He even has a doctor who is lined up to testify. Now, prosecutors have filed their opposition to this line of testimony. Basically, they're saying he has a mental condition bearing on the issue of guilt. So I don't know what he's trying to pull here.
Right. But which crime is he saying he did?
I guess what he's saying is the effects of the drugs and alcohol on his memory and cognitive function. They're saying his defense is trying to say because of that, he shouldn't be held liable for what happened. So I don't know. This should be interesting to see how this plays out. Prosecutors also want to block testimony of a forensic video expert that says that video was basically altered. That's what Diddy
Which
was
video?
into.
The Cassie
With
video?
Cassie, yes.
Diddy's lawyer and the law firm he had been working with for more than 20 years dismissed him as a client because they saw him as a liability and realized this case was unwinnable after seeing the evidence against him. All of this proves Diddy is guilty and is now merely attempting to lie his way out of jail.
Diddy Combs' legal team is getting a little smaller. As the rap mogul's defense team prepares for his May trial on sex trafficking charges, his attorney Anthony Rico respectfully but regrettably requested to be dismissed from his role, according to documents obtained by NBC News. Rico, who is one of 6 attorneys on the case, requested in the February 21st filing to withdraw as representation because, quote, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. The motion continues, quote, while I'm aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case.
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, this is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently been with Grubman's firm for over 20 years. He was friends with Alan Grubman by all accounts.
For months, his lawyers have been contesting the search warrants used to search his homes in Miami and Los Angeles, claiming they were unconstitutional. The defense contends the warrant applications were excessive and that everything the feds seized should be excluded. Dottie is also anxious and has been working to remove any incriminating evidence.
Selection is officially underway in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Chloe Malas was in federal court today, and Chloe, no jurors selected, but a pretty revealing start to the 8-week trial.
Lester, that's right. It was an illuminating first day of court. Combs entered the courtroom wearing a crew neck sweater and a white button-down shirt. He had some gray in his hair and in his goatee. And at one point, he told the judge that he needed to use the bathroom and that he was feeling a little bit nervous. Now, also, several celebrities were named today, although they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. They might be mentioned during the course of the trial. Their names are Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, and his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who has accused him of years of physical and emotional abuse. And she is expected to testify during the trial. Now, Combs has vehemently denied all of the allegations against him. I also want to point out that celebrity attorney Mark Garagos, he was present in the courtroom. His daughter is Tenny Garagos, one of the lead attorneys for Combs throughout this trial. Now, a source telling NBC News that he hasn't joined the team, but he is advising on jury selection.
Sean Diddy Combs looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael. You'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called FreakOffs, not coerced as prosecutors allege. This latest challenge to his case comes 3 months before trial, and as Combs loses one of his attorneys, Anthony Rico says under no circumstances can he continue to represent Combs. He offered no details about that decision, Robin.
Okay. All right, thanks.
From leaked tapes to silenced witnesses and a legal team grabbing at straws, Diddy is fighting tooth and nail to bury the truth. But with the world watching and more names being dragged into the spotlight, the question now isn't if the house of cards will fall, it's who's going down with him. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the next update. Because trust me, this story is far from over.